Toyotomi Hideyoshi, one of Japan's most illustrious figures, emerged from humble beginnings to become a unifying force in a nation fractured by civil strife. His journey is not just a tale of military conquests and political acumen, but also one of resilience, ambition, and the relentless pursuit of greatness. Born in 1537 in a small village in the Owari province, Hideyoshi was the son of a peasant, which meant that his early life was marked by the struggles of the lower classes. However, it was this very background that would fuel his ambition and shape his destiny. As a young man, Hideyoshi worked as a servant to a local samurai, the warlord Oda Nobunaga. This position, while humble, provided him with an invaluable opportunity to learn the intricacies of leadership, strategy, and the art of war. Nobunaga was a formidable figure in the Sengoku period, a time characterized by constant military conflict and political upheaval. Hideyoshi quickly gained the attention of Nobunaga through his intelligence and tenacity. He rose through the ranks, proving himself as a capable and resourceful soldier. His loyalty to Nobunaga was unwavering, and in return he was entrusted with significant responsibilities. One of the most pivotal moments in Hideyoshi's early career came during the siege of Takamatsu in 1573. Nobunaga had laid siege to the castle, and the situation was dire. Hideyoshi, demonstrating remarkable strategic insight, devised a plan to cut off the enemy's supplies and communication lines. His tactics not only contributed to the eventual fall of the castle, but also showcased his ability to think critically under pressure. This success solidified his reputation as a military strategist and earned him Nobunaga's favor. However, the path to greatness is often fraught with challenges. In 1582, Nobunaga was betrayed and forced to commit seppuku by one of his own generals, Akechi Mitsuhide. This betrayal sent shockwaves through Japan, leaving a power vacuum that many sought to fill. In the chaos that ensued, Hideyoshi acted swiftly and decisively. He rallied Nobunaga's remaining loyalists and launched a counterattack against Mitsuhide, culminating in the Battle of Yamazaki. In a matter of days, Hideyoshi avenged his lord's death, defeating Mitsuhide and consolidating power among Nobunaga's former territories. With Nobunaga's death, Hideyoshi faced the daunting task of unifying Japan. He understood that the key to stability lay not only in military might, but also in gaining the support of the samurai class and the populace. He began implementing policies that would earn him the loyalty of various factions. One of his most significant reforms was the land survey, which aimed to assess agricultural productivity and establish a fair tax system. This not only increased revenue for his campaigns, but also improved the lives of farmers, who benefited from a more structured and predictable taxation system. Hideyoshi's ambitions extended beyond mere governance. He sought to elevate his status in a society that was rigidly hierarchical. In 1587, he took the unprecedented step of issuing an edict that prohibited Christianity, which had gained a foothold in Japan through European missionaries. Hideyoshi viewed this as a threat to the traditional social order and his own authority. He ordered the expulsion of missionaries and the persecution of converts, demonstrating his willingness to confront foreign influence in the name of national unity. In his quest for legitimacy, Hideyoshi also sought to elevate his status by adopting the title of Kanpaku, or regent, in 1585. This title allowed him to wield power in the name of the emperor, a move that solidified his authority while still adhering to the traditional structures of Japanese society. His ambition did not stop there. He later sought the title of shogun, a military rank that would further entrench his power. However, his bid for the shogunate was ultimately thwarted, leading him to adopt a more symbolic approach to governance. One of the most remarkable aspects of Hideyoshi's rule was his ability to engage in diplomacy and foster alliances. He understood that military might alone would not secure lasting peace. In 1590, he launched the siege of Odawara against the Hojo clan, a powerful family that had resisted his authority. Rather than relying solely on brute force, Hideyoshi employed psychological tactics, sending messengers to negotiate and intimidate his opponents. The siege culminated in the Hojo's surrender, and Hideyoshi's reputation as a unifier was solidified. As Japan began to stabilize under Hideyoshi's rule, he turned his attention to expansion beyond its borders. In 1592, he initiated the invasions of Korea, driven by a desire to extend Japanese influence and establish a foothold on the Asian mainland. The first invasion was marked by initial successes as Hideyoshi's forces captured key cities. However, the campaign soon bogged down in protracted warfare, and the resilience of the Korean defenders, coupled with the intervention of the Ming dynasty, led to significant losses for the Japanese. The second invasion in 1597 further strained Hideyoshi's resources and resolve. The prolonged conflict proved costly, both in terms of lives and finances. As the war dragged on, dissent began to brew among his ranks. The once unified front started to fracture, and the toll of the campaigns weighed heavily on Hideyoshi's health and spirit. By the time the invasions ended, Hideyoshi's dreams of continental expansion had crumbled, leaving behind a legacy of both ambition and tragedy. In the latter years of his life, Hideyoshi focused on consolidating his power and securing his legacy. He sought to establish a stable succession plan, fearing that the chaos of the past could return. He adopted a young boy, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, as his heir, hoping to ensure the continuation of his lineage. Hideyoshi's later years were marked by a series of grand construction projects, including the famous Osaka Castle, which became a symbol of his power and ambition. However, the seeds of discord were sown. Hideyoshi's death in 1598 left a power vacuum that would soon lead to conflict among his retainers and rivals. The political landscape of Japan began to shift once more, and the very unity he had fought so hard to achieve began to unravel. His death marked the beginning of the end for the Toyotomi clan, as factions emerged to vie for control. The Battle of Sekigahara in 1600 would become the decisive conflict that determined the future of Japan. Hideyoshi's loyalists faced off against the forces of Tokugawa Ieyasu, a former ally who had grown increasingly powerful. The battle was fiercely contested, but Ieyasu emerged victorious, establishing the Tokugawa shogunate that would dominate Japan for over 2 centuries. Hideyoshi's legacy, while tarnished by the subsequent rise of his rivals, would endure in the annals of history. Toyotomi Hideyoshi's life is a testament to the complexities of ambition, power, and the human spirit. From his humble origins as a peasant to his rise as a unifier of Japan, his journey is filled with remarkable moments that shaped the course of history. His military genius, political savvy, and ability to adapt to changing circumstances allowed him to navigate the treacherous waters of the Sengoku period, leaving an indelible mark on the nation. While his dreams of expansion ultimately faltered, his legacy as a unifier and reformer remains a significant chapter in Japan's storied past. In the end, Hideyoshi's story is not just about the man himself, but also about the era he lived in. A time of chaos, ambition, and the relentless pursuit of power. His life serves as a reminder that greatness is often born from adversity, and that the journey toward unity and stability is fraught with challenges that test the very fabric of society. As Japan moved forward into a new era under the Tokugawa shogunate, the echoes of Hideyoshi's ambition and accomplishments would continue to resonate, shaping the nation's identity for generations to come.